Merit to go ahead with the Torah and Likutei once again in the schus of Rabbi Yossi Salson. Help me say these beautiful names correctly. David Rich is here. You know, I started looking at that book of Rav Grossman, Legend Lives or something. It's unbelievable.
Living legend, yeah.
Living legend. What
Were you
a
with us when we
Sadik.
visited?
No,
I was.
I wish.
Oh my gosh.
What a Sadik. Not only one of my Rabbonim is in the book, Nachman Bouman, who gave me my beginning derech in Chassidus, Zatzal, but also, you know, what his legacy, his way of dealing with things, with gangsters, with everything, every level of neshama. Obviously, one of the challenges is, and this is one of the reasons why Rebbe never opened up a mostas for these kind of things, is because he himself as a tzaddik and probably everything he touches he does mamish helps people be'emes with the neshama. The problem is when you have a big institution, eventually it gets to people who are not where you're at, where the tzaddik is, where the mashpia is. So then it becomes institutionalized, it loses a little bit of the. So I'm sure it's an amazing place, but it's because he's an amazing person, but we have to always remember that the person doesn't always mean the institution. It's always remind ourselves.
It happens to be, I mean, from what I can tell.
It's an amazing institution, yeah. So what it reminds us of, and this is why we're learning these Torahs, is that it shows that you have to, when you read these books, you have to now think, how can I actually become more like this myself? A bit more of a tzaddik, more of someone who helps people be'emes, and it pushes us to step up. We don't rely on the fact that there's an institution or there's a legacy. We have to now step up.
He drops everything when a little person comes into his life and needs help. He drops huge meetings.
He sold his apartment. Imagine
drops
it.
Money.
Would you sell your apartment to help save?
Buy a truck.
To get some gangster to buy a truck so that he won't anymore allow Arabs to intermarry in your local community? Would you sell your house for that?
Right. No. When we went
I'd sell my house so I could buy a new house. That's a normal person. He's a tzaddik.
It was, and again, he still lets he's living. It's not he's like really like old, but it's still in like great shape and great spirits and full of energy.
Wow.
So when we went to go visit him, I was with someone else, another group. I saw him drive in because I knew now where his office was. So he drives in like behind the building, and I could tell that he had come. And we went in a different entrance, but his driver was hanging out by the car. So I go over to the driver. I'm like, "You're the driver for Grossman?" He goes, "Yep." And he's in the book also. I said, "Yeah, you're Uri, whatever." So he said that being his driver it's impossible to keep up. We could be driving. He'll say, "No, we just have to go to the Rambam's Kevin.
Yeah.
We just have to go. It's 2:00 in the morning. We've been driving. No, I just have to do something there. I just have to go drop this off by someone. I just have to go ahead."
Yeah.
He's constantly doing that. Like he was telling me from his own.
Yeah, I have a little taste of that when I was on the trip to Rav Shalom Arush, and I was managing the trip from beginning to end.
He also would be all over.
Non-stop. From the early morning, davening nates in a minyan, and Machazik, not just come to daven nates, but also Machazik the minyan, speak at a breakfast, whatever it was. And then literally from that moment till late at night, till like 1 a.m, we're busy with people all day. Maybe we'd have like a little bit of a in-between half an hour for him to go do a spodidus. And so then that would give me an hour just for my wife collect my head together. But basically it was non-stop all day. And if I wasn't there on my bull or my game, he'd end up in someone else's car being driven off to be mashpia somewhere else, and I'd lose the bull. So I had to constantly, and I felt responsible for his health and well-being. So it was a very intense experience, having those 3 weeks every year for a bunch of years. And also when I used to be by Rasimai Zilberg, and I used to go around with him in his car and see the kind of schedule he kept up with, from early in the morning till late at night. And they're most nefesh for the klal, and for Torah, for mitzvahs, for Yiddishkeit. Rav Arush's Mesiras Nefesh and his Spodidus was moridik. Like everything would stop. He'd tell me at some point, he said, "I know there's more meetings, but if I need to do my hour before Shabbos comes, and that's it." He showed me the kedusha of his Spodidus in real time. Doesn't matter who it was.
He would stop in the middle of it all.
Doesn't matter. I have to tell the people to come back with Shabbos or whatever. Like I'm doing my hour of Avodat today, and it's before Shabbos comes in, and I have to do it. So I usually scheduled it. That was when I was, on my full game. I'd schedule it as part of the day, and then it was smoother. You have to schedule everything: mikveh, Avodat, everything, nates, everything was the kind of food, the kind of food these people he ate was always very healthy. Fish, no meat, no whatever food. It was a very specific diet. It's like a different kind of, when you remember these tzaddikim, it's a different world. They live in a different, level of exactness and precision and importance of the cloud, the importance of their avoda, and it's intense, and people, they're magnets. People are drawn to them. They're magnets. They have energy. They have awe. People are drawn to their awe, and it's pelagic. So we're learning here in Likutei Moharan, Rabbi Nachman and Feiga and Simcha. Lulav. So we mentioned Talibenu la'avdecha be'emes. We mentioned this concept that Hashem should purify our hearts to serve Him with truth. Is Rosh Tevis Lulav, because we're connecting it to Shavuos. The idea of Torah is emes, it's truth. Is we should daven. One of the big tefillas we daven is Talibenu la'avdecha be'emes, to serve Hashem with truth. So we're in the middle of Torah Lamed Gimel, Os Tes. We're talking again about the Kavanot Lulav and how this brings down this chesed into the Daat. So we mentioned the Nanuim ends up being 72 Nanuim, which is Gematria Chesed. Shebechinas Ahavas B'Daat, so Toch Chesodin Shebeguf. We're bringing it into the Guf. Shehem Bechinas Klalias Amidus, into all the different attributes. Shekulam Abushim Chesodim, they're all clothing the Chesodim. That was the whole concept of the pasuk at the beginning. Shehem Bechinas Ahavas. We're just summarizing yesterday. Because Malchus, and the whole point is it lights up Malchus. We said that Malchus is the Esrog, Legalis Malchus the Kol Boya Olam, and it reveals Malchus to everyone that comes. And the Moshe Lekusa B'Chol Lashonis Ha'akim, and this is the big part of this whole Torah of Lamed Gimel, that we should bring the godliness in every language of the nations, in everything physical in the world, B'Chol Gavarim Gashmiim, B'Chol Midore Klipas Kana, and anyone that dwells in any kind of klipa, we should bring out the Elikus, Shekol Hu B'Chinas Malchus, So B'Chol Mashala. That he is a king, and he is Moshe, he's ruling over everything. And that's bringing out the emes. Without Hashem, nothing would exist. I just learned a beautiful Torah from Lebelega, and he says in the Midbar, why is it Midbar? Why are we entering now Parshas Midbar? We're entering into this place of where it proves, it derives its chiyas only from Hashem. There's no chiyas in the Midbar other than from Hashem. So if we were able to survive in the Midbar, it's because Hashem was giving us chiyas, giving us an uncovered, the man, the Bear Miriam. There was no way around it. There was no way we could have any dimyon that there was other kinds of kochas or kochamet simyodi or any dimyonis of that we are supporting ourselves. It was completely tali on Hashem. And that's the place where we receive Torah be'emes. Complete bittul. And that place of bittul, the midbar, is where we get the Torah Kadosha. That's where we get the Gula Rishona, and please God, through that kind of masik, hashkafa, we're no longer relying on Trump or on anyone else, only relying on one thing, on Hashem Yisbarach. And that koach gives us ability to be Mamshech the Gula Shlema. Chozeh nasa aydei sadik, shekofa yitzra'el. And this is all through the tzaddik whose kofa is yitzra'el. So we're saying the tzaddik, like Rav Grossman, he'll sell his apartment to help stop intermarriage in a community that he doesn't even, have what to do with a few years before. He's willing to sell his house for such a Mesiras Nefesh to save Am Yisrael. Such a tzaddik. Imagine it. Shebechinas halulav. This is the aspect of lulav who bechinas tzaddik yidu. So the lulav is connected to the Indian of tzaddik. We just had yisod should be yisod. This is sphera right now. The tzaddik of the tzaddik. We're tuning into this concept of tzaddik. Bechinas tzaddik tama yifrach. So pasuk in Tehillim, tzaddik tama yifrach. Ki besukas anum oskim legalis malchus alakol boyalam. Yeah, because remember the tama. How does it connect in this concept of the tama? Yeah, tzaddik tama yifrach. Pachzeh kusha tzaddik says underneath im eitz tama. Babasa says the kesha shebein tzaddik bein lulav. Oh, it comes from the tama is where the lulav comes from. Anaf tama comes from a tama tree. Kapas tamarim. The kesha shaleinu OP mavor. Mosh Misadav Shagili or eitz yivor Rav Nosson. Is this right? No, it goes to the next page.
Again,
Ahava Lulav Toch Yimim.
Tzaddik Lulav is the center.
Center. Zeranpin, you were saying the other day.
Yeah.
The tzaddik is this aspect of Lulav. The tzaddik, lo leiv, his heart's to Hashem. So we mentioned yesterday, his heart's to Hashem. That's the tzaddik. He's completely, the heart is in his rishus, not in the rishus of the YITZCHAK, but in the rishus of the mayach shola ala leiv. Or the idea the tzaddik is shola on his neshama alakus, is shola on his leiv, on his desires, and everything he wants. And this is the tzaddik. He's the katama yifrach. He's the connection with the lulav, which comes from the tama, from the date tree. And in the sukkah we are oskim in revealing his kingship to all the world.
I've always liked that pasuk tzaddik tamar yifrach at the end of it is
Sof Tevis Korach.
So tzaddik tamar yifrach, but the end of the pasuk.
The end of the pasuk
is
Sulam.
Tzaddik tamar yifrach ke'erez.
Erez Alvanon. Yeah, it's funny. I'm dealing with Erez right now. I'm talking to Erez Safar, trying to bring him for an event.
Erez who?
Erez Safar.
Who is he?
And I'm also dealing with a whole story in Arazeh Habira, which is Erez. Yeah. It's a place of Arazim. So there's definitely a connection right now on that.
There's a guy. I would just say, have you ever seen a Lebanon tree?
A Lebanon tree, yeah. This is
like they're
the big trees. No?
So imagine Tzaddik Tamar Yifrach ke'erez Balvana. Imagine being in the garden. The garden of Hashem. Hashem has a garden.
Like a Seda in Lebanon.
You're planted there.
Grow too.
And you're a tree like this tree that's like super. It's like a what's the big tree in California?
Cedar.
Like a cedar.
Those redwood trees.
Yeah, the redwood. It's like something
huge redwood forest. I've been inside
planted.
They're huge.
Inside the garden of Hashem, like the wind can come.
Nothing.
They're not blowing down. Yeah. This can come now. If you're just a little reed, maybe you'll make it.
The reed will bend, so that's why it won't break.
Yeah.
But if there's a big enough storm, these trees will break.
But one of these trees, that's great. You're in. It's a good thing to be in. It's good. It's a good thing to be a Lebanon tree planted in God's garden.
Strong. Chazak. So for Filo Kol HaShvim, the Shivim Noshes, Akom, Shazah Sol, the Shivim Parim, Shakamim, Bishvilam. So I know this is a Sukkot Torah, but Shavuos is the Pinimi of all the Torah. So we're getting Kabbalah Torah. So we're connecting in. It's Mamshich into Sukkot. The Yom Tovim. So the idea that the 70 languages of the nations, they all come and bring on Sukkot. Each par, like a cow, they each bring their par, 70 parim, and that's connected them in Sukkot. Over the 7 days of Sukkot, we get 70 korbanos. It's divided, it goes downwards as time goes on, just like their kayak goes down. They have less and less strength, so that's why it starts at 14, it goes 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, I think that would be 7, maybe 7. Yeah, it goes down to 7. The idea of the 7 days, 7, and that total adds up to 14 cows. The koach gets less and less of the nations until where is Parachad, just us with Hashem. And this we say after we take the Lulav, have Kofosav, and we go around the Bima, or around the Mizbech, back in the time of the Beis HaMikdash, in the Hashanas, Laman das Koam Haaretz, Ki Hashem Hu Elokim Ein Od.
Yeah, even in those guys.
Yeah.
Even though in those 70 nations.
Yeah.
When we go ahead and bring sacrifices for them, if they only knew we're trying to wake them up, we shake the lulav and we wave it around to say, hey, even you guys have Hashem.
We're trying to reveal Hashem. There's nothing else but Hashem there also. Very good. And that's the big tikkun. We're trying to reveal in all the nations Hashem, because in the end, all the panimis of the Shivim, the Shonas, the Shivim Amim is connected to Shivim Midas, because 10 times 7 is 70. When we say Kiddush every night, sorry, not every night, every Leil Shabbos, we say Kiddush, there's 70 words in the Kiddush connected to Shivim Amim. 35 connected Esav, 35 connected Yishmael, and the two parts of the bracha, first is Esav, first Yishmael, Masakin, the two Roshim of all the nations, all the 70 nations, all the midas of a person. And we're fixing up all of the Bria. If we're saying Kiddush, being Shtatev Ma'aseh Bereishis, and we're becoming a partner in Hashem in creation every Leil Shabbos, Megala Hashem's Einot every Shabbos, so it connects in also with Shabbos. You mentioned something with Shabbos, because Tzaddik Tam Yifrach is part of Mizmor Shel Yom HaShabbos, so it's also connected every Shabbos. Because them Mevah B'Torah Zois Mevah La'il Barichis Adayin Tzrikin in Yonah Rabbah, and this is all going to be explained in a later Torah in length, and we need to go into this deeply in a big way. Kavanot Lulav al pi Torah now. We need to explain how it connects, and I'm sure he did in the Likutei Halachos. I'm sure he explained it over there. Hashem Yara Einenu, and Hashem should light up our eyes in His Torah. So Nizke Lahavin Devarav and Mozov, Lorim and the Floim. He should give us the merit to understand these holy words that are hinted and awesome and wondrous. So one of the things I would say we're getting chizuk from here is, like you said before, that we're megala in every aspect of creation. Hashem is Einon Mevada. There's nothing else but Hashem. It's definitely a big part of Kabbalah Torah, part of the Kavanot, the Baal Shem Tov is Hilula is coming up Shavuos. It's to megala the yichud of Hashem in everything, and that's something which we get chizuk even more so with this whole Torah of to be able to Mia Ish Chovetz Chaim. Who's the man in one's life? To be the he sees that he loves and he sees the good within the days, the chesed of Hashem, he sees the Ahava of Hashem. And this is something which Shlomo mentioned today, that the Torah needs to be given over in such a way where we reveal how much Hashem's love is in the Torah. Not just as we have to do this and we have to do that, but to be in love with Hashem, to have a relationship with Hashem. I get these messages every so from Instagram, and now it's spilled over onto WhatsApp. I get the guy the WhatsApp, and he's sending me all these Torahs about Gehenna from Rambam and Reishis Chochmah, and I keep telling him again and again, I'm going to answer you, but I just want to tell you, you need to keep tuning more into the love and more into the relationship with Hashem. That's the Torah of our generation. That's the Torah of the Rebbes.
Not the Gehenna and fear
That's not for our door, and I've heard this beferish from Mashkichim, from Gedolim, that our generation needs to be Rak Hazak Yamatz. A lot of chizuk, a lot of encouragement, a lot of Ahava, a lot of Tshuva B'Ahava, Tshuva B'Simcha. It can't be all this heavy what works in the past to push people through Yira and through. Even though you need the balance, but it can't be the emphasis. And not. I've been told beferish not to learn those parts of Torah that are talking about the Pagamim and all the Chesronis and
even the same Zohar that you love learning and explains so much talks about the Pagamim.
Yeah, so for example, there's a Sefer Torah Kodesh. Yeah, it's a Sefer from the of Aaron. He was the beginning of Shomer Munim, the whole told us Aaron, told us Avram Yitzchak.
Yeah.
So Torah Kodesh.
What's his name?
Aaron Roth.
That's incredible.
Yeah, he's special. So he brought down a lot of Torahs on Kedushas Bris and Amunah.
He was really.
So I asked the Rabbi about learning his Svarim.
He used to daven so hard.
Yeah, he has also said the Torah Shulchan as well.
His sweat would come out. He'd have another pair of clothing with him.
Sure.
To change. He was such a
and you see that by his descendants. Like Avram Yitzchak told us Avram Yitzchak Rabbi davens was such a slavist.
Yeah.
But the Likutei, what I want to just say, just give chizuk, is the Mashkiach told me, from Moshe Wilson told me, only learn the milas, only learn the positive aspects of Kedushas Bris. Don't learn any of the problems, the garment. Don't learn any of it. Don't learn that part of the Svarim. Only the positive. And that's the kind of chizuk we need to focus in on. Rabbi Nachman's giving us that chizuk, Ahava and Chesed, focusing in on that Shavuos, the fruit cheesecake. We're not thinking about the Hasinite on top of us. If we don't keep it, he's going to crush us. We're not thinking about that on Shavuos. We're thinking about how much he loves us. We're not talking about Hagigis. We're talking about Tshuva B'Ahava, Torah B'Ahava. Our Neinu B'Sorah can light up our eyes, and that's the Simcha of Lulav and the Simcha of shaking. And we hope that all the soldiers who are shaking their guns right now at our enemies should be just as successful as the Kavanot of Lulav in revealing Hashem's oneness and having that Shmir Eliyahu they will need.
Amen. Shakar.
Blessed.
Eliezer.